first steps for any entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Fitness industry, branding.
Yeah.
What advice would that be?
Sell one thing to one person on one channel. So a lot of people try and get really cute and try to do lots of things, but 0 to 6 figures, which is, is really just sell something to a specific customer on one channel. When I say channel, I mean like you learn how to sell through Instagram DMs. Okay. You learn how to make YouTube videos that generates inbound leads. You learn how to run ads. You learn how to do cold calls. You learn how to do like whatever acquisition, you learn how to recruit affiliates. You learn how to create a referral system. It doesn't really matter what way you do it. One method for one specific type of customer with one product. That is what gets you from 0 to 6 figures. If you want to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, it's doing each of those steps, consistently. Because what happens is most people make a sale and then they stop working.
Yeah.
And so it's being able to consistently do the activities that generate the sales. If you just do it consistently, then you get to 7 figures. At that point, you usually have to look at a bigger picture in terms of the strategy of the business, which is, okay, how can we afford to get even more customers? So that's usually when you have to add in some sort of back-end products to increase the lifetime value of each customer. And I won't get beyond that. But at that point, then at that point, you'll be able to afford to go through other channels to get more customers. And I'll cap it there. That gets you to $1 million a month, and then we'll stop there.
So basically, from entry point here, what would be your first step if you lost everything today?
Yeah.
Okay. Strip everything back down, or you're just giving somebody that's just walked into the gym. Yeah. I want to be the next Alex Hormozi. Yeah. What would be the very first thing that they need to focus on other incredible beer and calves?
First thing I would say is be you, not me, because you're not going to beat me at being me. But, one, get an LLC set up through the LegalZoom. 2, take the LLC to bank and get them to give you a bank account. Step 3, set that bank account, hook it up to Stripe or PayPal to get a way to process money. Step 4, message people with the thing that you are trying to sell and ask them to hop on the phone so that you can sell them the thing. Then they will give you their credit card, and then you run that card, and then you will get money, and then you do the thing that you said you were going to do in exchange for money. That is a business. That
is the easiest way that and the most understandable thing I've heard from your mouth of podcast, which, to be honest with you, mate, even I was on board with that. No, but again, we have a wide variety of different people are watching you. We have a lot of young guys, aspiring young, hustlers. I know that, you got a videographer next to me. I had the pleasure of talking to him before we jumped on the podcast, and, he obviously put himself in uncomfortable situations until it became comfy and put himself into, LA until Alex Hormozi was hit up, and you guys have linked, right? So again, I love that approach to, just turning your hat back to front and hustling. I've got my own story. I came here at 20. I knew one person. I slept on the sofa, wanted to be the best in the world. I put myself all over California until I put myself into the gym when I had my kick twice a day. And I was around people that truly got the best version of me. And then I seen the best version of me. And I realized then I could do this. So, you got to get beaten down. You got to be, and have an incredible mindset to focus forward. And learn from every mistake that has come. And for me, sitting now in my shoes that I'm in now, obviously I'm not as accomplished in business as you are.
You're more accomplished in bodybuilding.
But bodybuilding is a different thing. Right? But again, it's more of the circle of people I have around me now that I pick and I learn from. Again, if it came to bodybuilding, I've been around the best. I feel like I know everything in that space. And there's nothing else for me to achieve in that space. But what interests me now is the business element, is other things that scare the shit of me, just like being half naked up on stage did. So now I'm chasing these new goals and these new dreams and, again, putting myself, as I said, another cliche, the same thing again, in uncomfortable situations until it become comfy, just like this podcast, right? This is nothing I ended up wanting to or aspire to be kid from Wales with this accent and incredible lisp that I've had to work through. But again, I get to be around and interview friends and get to hear their stories and what the common storyline among everybody I've had on this podcast is nothing's been given easy. Everything has come from trials, tribulations, failures, and everybody's still admittedly learning from their failures, no matter how much success they've had, no matter how great their life is, no matter what car they're driving, how big their house is, they're still aspiring to be better every single day. And that's when I look at you, mate. That's something I always gravitate and get from you is you're humble, you're driven, you live very frivolously. You don't you spend on exotic stuff and front. And you're probably one, if not one of the most, if not the most accomplished person that walks around this gym in business. So from me to you, man,
not bodybuilding.
Business. There he goes again. See, trying to take away the compliment, which I truly love, to be honest. I do love the humility. Yeah. But again, I think that's one of the traits and many traits, obviously, that I like about being around you. You lose me in half a conversation half the time, which, if you honest, it'd be like me talking about bodybuilding drop sets and this, that, and the other. But I'm there to a certain point. But again, with the viewers we have and getting you on this podcast today, I truly hope that a lot of these guys and girls that are watching this have taken, the storyline of the success story and not seeing it as this was given to you. This is truly earned.
If I can just and first off, thank you. I appreciate it. It's very nice of you to say. If I can toss this out for the people who are, younger or on the come up, or they're not on the come up and they want to be on the come up. One is that you have to figure out what problem you're trying to solve. So a lot of people start down a career path, even if it's, let's say it's bodybuilding, right? And they haven't actually played it out. So my 3 favorite questions to ask when we're trying to make a big strategic decision is, number 1, what problem we're trying to solve. Number 2 is, let's play it out. And number 3 is, which problem would you prefer? And so if you figure out what problem you're trying to solve, then you are like, okay, well, then there's multiple scenarios to solve this problem. So you play out each of them. So if someone's like, well, I want to be a bodybuilder, you're like, why? They're like, well, I want to make money. It's like, okay, that's a different problem, right? And so, to be fair, the only way you're going to make that is if you're literally number 1 or top 5, that you'll make real-ish money, right? Yeah. Right. On the flip side, you could probably become an influencer without even stepping on stage and make significantly more money. You know what I mean? If that's the goal. So it's, again, what problem are we solving? Then you play it out. And you're like, okay, well, now I'm number 1. Now what? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I wanted to, for me, playing it out was like, okay, I'm going to go to business school. Okay, then what? It's like, okay, well, then I'll get a consulting job that makes me $120,000 a year. Okay, then what? It's like, well, I guess I'd have to work up the ladder there, and then eventually I would save enough money to start a business. I was like, well, what if I just did that, if that's what I want to do? And so those are 3 questions I would ask myself. The second thing is that if you do not know the input-output equation for how you're going to be successful, you will not be successful. And so what I mean by that is you have to figure out what primary actions you have to take that will continue to stack up over time. So, for example, if I wanted to create a marketing agency or I wanted to sell widgets or whatever it was, I will need to get customers. And so either I will reach out individually to friends and family, I will reach out individually to strangers to get them to hop on the phone and buy my thing, right? I will run ads to get it, or I will post content in order to get more customers. Beyond that, I could get affiliates, or I could get referrals to send me people. That's it. Those are the only ways we can get customers. If you don't know what the input system is there, where you're like, okay, I need to do 100 reach outs a day. I need to make 5 pieces of content. I need to get 2 affiliate relationships a week. I need to, whatever the input is, if you don't know what that is, then you're never going to get there. So you have to figure out what problem you're trying to solve. You have to play it out and then figure out which problem you prefer, and then figure out what your input-output equation is to getting what you want. And then you do it. And you do it as many times as you possibly can, and you ignore everybody who tells you that you're wrong and tells you that you're not going to get there. And most of all, you ignore the thoughts that you were telling yourself about why you're not going to get there, because you are wrong on a long enough time horizon if you do the thing. And so if you do that, it becomes unreasonable that you won't succeed. And so I like to create unreasonable equations for myself, which is, if I did this thing every single day for 10 years and I never stopped, would it be unreasonable that I won't be a millionaire? If it's unreasonable that I won't be a millionaire, or I won't be a billionaire, or whatever your number is, then I'm like, cool, then that's what I need to do. And so if you haven't figured out your input-output equation, which is what I need to do to get the thing, then it is the first problem you have to solve. Once you do that, The rest of it is wake up early, spend the first 6 hours of your day making your content, doing your reach outs, recruiting affiliates, blah, 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 whatever thing it is, and then don't let anyone stop you. And that also means saying no to things that you probably want to do right now. Because the people who are further ahead of you have no more time than you do. They do things differently than you. And if you fill your time right now, every day, which you probably do because you're alive, you do things during the day, then it's not about adding more to your plate. It's about removing the things on your plate right now that you're wasting your time with.